Well, the first thing I'm going to do is cut the state sales tax 2 cents by 1/3, giving every Marylander a personal family fiscal stimulus of $780 a year. And then that will act as a lure to bring in the big businesses, all of which, every single one of which is shunning Maryland. Once we bring them in, there'll be plenty of money to pay for whatever educational blueprint we desire. One issue I feel most strongly about is that it's not being said how we're going to pay for the blueprint. It seems as though they want to pass property tax increases along to all the local jurisdictions. And as you know, I was successful in Montgomery County of getting a limit on property taxes passed over the opposition of every elected official, which limited increase in property tax revenue to the rate of inflation. But now the blueprint wants far more than that. And people are already having trouble paying their gas bills, their rent, their mortgages. We don't need tax increases. We're not going to shut down the schools in Maryland, I can tell you that. I was the only speaker at the July 2020 Open Maryland rally to call for opening the schools fully in September of 2020. Instead, what happened? Maryland ended up with the lowest percentage of students of any state in the union in actual physical school. It can be parental choice as to whether or not kids should have to wear masks. But if you want to give a small child a mental concern, the best way to do it is to not let him associate or her associate with other kids, keep many of them home alone, and then make them wear a big piece of cloth over their face 8 hours a day so they can't breathe properly. We're not going to go along with these mandates. If some parents want to have their little kids wearing masks, that's up to them. But it's going to be personal choice. We're not shutting down the schools. It's going to be in-person learning, not virtual. Well, it's the governor's job to see that people are safe, and we want police that are doing that. We've had a tremendous surge of fentanyl across our southern border coming in unchecked, and as a result, fentanyl is the #1 cause of death for people between 18 and 45. Don't bring your fentanyl into Maryland when Robin is governor. I'll tell you that. The police should be officer friendly, treat the constituents as they would their brother or sister. But of course, if a criminal is going to act violently, we're not going to put up with that. And if you want to act violently, go out into the boxing ring or go and play football, but don't bring a gun with you and try to hold up an innocent person. I don't know why anyone would like to retire early, except maybe if they're earning a full salary and a second job in addition to, quote, retirement. I think we ought to make the jobs enjoyable. We ought to give them adequate pay to be able to live in the county where they're working. And we ought to be friendly to the police as they should be to the constituents. Well, I'm the only candidate for governor in either party that's going to have a job strike force that will be in the air within 1 hour to go out to these multi-billion-dollar companies that are having multi-billion-dollar expansions, except they're all in other states. They're not in Maryland. Just this morning, I saw that Hyundai is having a $7 billion EV battery plant built in Georgia. Why not Maryland? I know that Toyota is building a multi-billion-dollar car battery plant in North Carolina. Why not Maryland? Amazon moved to Northern Virginia. Boeing just recently moved to Northern Virginia. Why not Maryland? Why not BWI? Apple just decided to build a billion-dollar campus in North Carolina, paying $185,000 each. Google is spending $9.5 billion in capital improvements in 2022, not $1 in Maryland. Maryland's Department of Commerce has been asleep. They haven't been doing their job. And that's going to change when Robin is governor. Our job strike force is going to bring in these jobs. We're going to go out and talk with these companies that are paying very well, but which are shunning Maryland. Each one of these multi-billion-dollar companies, Microsoft, Nucor Steel, Samsung, Taiwan Semiconductor, Texas Instruments, Toyota, Global Foundries, Amazon, Apple, Facebook, they're all shunning Maryland. They're not locating here. Maryland is not a business-friendly state, but with Robin, we're going to be very friendly, and we're going to cut that sales tax to act as a lure. No state has ever cut its sales tax before. Well, I'm gonna make sure that the Chesapeake Bay Bridge is expanded, that the capacity is improved very, very quickly, because I'm the only candidate that spent the last 2 summers and then starting again May 26th on the boardwalk at Ocean City, meeting more than 50,000 voters there so far. And I know that people are coming from Pennsylvania, New York, Virginia, North Carolina, West Virginia, New Jersey. They're all coming to Ocean City to spend money that benefits Marylanders. We have to make sure people can get to Ocean City. It's the second largest city in Maryland in the summertime. Now, as for 270, I wouldn't be surprised if some of these officials in Montgomery County decide to start issuing parking tickets to people driving on 270 and the Beltway, because we're not moving. We need the road in the northern sections of 270 is the same as it was when I graduated from high school. Come on, we've got to improve these roads. Urbana has tripled in size, and there's been no road improvement. We had Clarksburg has been built, no road improvement. They put a big mall there on I-270. We need to improve I-270, have some reversible lanes 20 years ago. Certainly today, I want to widen from Georgetown up to Frederick. Certainly we have to do that. We need to have reversible lanes. We've got to get Maryland moving. The reason these big companies aren't locating here is because we're in gridlock. And, we need to improve the roads, because people in their cars have freedom to travel that people on mass transit don't. People in their cars can go anywhere they want. They can go anytime they want. So we need to make sure that our roads are improved, and that hasn't been done. Well, tolls are not my goal, okay? And I fought the high tolls on the intercounty connector, which many people didn't want built, in which I thank every day. I'm thankful that road was built, because I use it. But we need to keep tolls at an absolute minimum if we're going to have tolls. But keep in mind that Maryland had the largest gas tax increase in U.S. history in 2013, and we should be using that money to improve our roads, including 495 and 270. It's incredible to me that some of these officials don't want to improve the Beltway. Evidently, they're not driving on it, but people who are really upset by the time they get home, because after working all day, they're in gridlock for a few hours, and then they get indigestion when they come home for supper. Well, I've essentially been serving as governor in many ways, because I have placed, and this is a Maryland record, 25 ballot measures on the ballot in Maryland's largest county, which, collecting 18,000 signatures for each, they've received 2,537,000 votes, which is more votes than Larry Hogan and Ben Jealous got put together. We imposed term limits, we limited property tax increases, and we kept garbage dumps and sewage sludge trenching out of residential zones. So I have done it. I've gotten matters passed with all Democratic opposition, although I can work with the Democrats and disagree without being disagreeable. Look, I've completed 40,000 cases, overturned 4 state laws in federal court, laws that were passed unconstitutionally. And, my clients love me. I rubbed a couple of judges the wrong way, but they're opposed to defense attorneys anyway, because we're battling them every day. I'm prepared to represent the people of Maryland in a way that is going to make them prosperous. It's going to bring in jobs and is going to reach the jobs that no one else has been able to bring in. Our Maryland Department of Commerce has been asleep. No jobs are coming in here, and we need to get our state moving by improving the transportation.